Want to 10x your productivity? We are diving into that empire building skill set in this episode. Stay tuned. Welcome to the Crown Yourself podcast, where together we build your empire and transform your subconscious stories about what's possible for your business, body, and life. I'm your host, Kimberly Spencer, founder of crownyourself.com, and I'm a master mindset coach, best-selling author, TEDx speaker, known to my clients as a game changer. Each week, you get the conscious leadership strategies you need to help you reign with courage, clarity, and confidence so that you too can make the income and impact you deserve. Imagine this podcast as your royal invitation to step into your full potential and reign in your divine purpose. Your sovereignty starts here, and your reign is now. Hey there, I'm Kimberly Spencer, your transformational high-performance business coach and subconscious mind miracle whisperer. And we are going to dive into how to easily 10x your business. And this was a breakthrough that I had recently. I was in my recertification for my certified high performance coaching. It's something that as a certified high performance coach, we do every year. And we recertify in the process of the sessions, because each session with certified high performance coaching has a template. It has questions that we follow. And then that way you are moving through principles, not just accountability. So we move you through getting more clarity, getting more energy, getting more productivity, getting more courage, and getting more influence. And the benefit is, as I'm going through this training, I'm also receiving as well as coaching, as well as observing coaching. And I'm getting to not only improve my craft as a coach, but I'm also getting like some really great deep insights. And I prefer to just go there. Like, I am not one to shy from a challenge of like showing up fully and saying, I'm going to engage with this fully and actually let myself be coached. And I was so surprised. There were some people there who were like, oh my gosh, this was like a real coaching session. I was like, yeah, because I don't know how to fake it. I don't know how to like be like, well, let me give you a pretend problem. And like, I don't know how to do that. So what I did, and I think it was in the productivity session, and I was getting coached by this amazing CEO, and like I was having so many breakthroughs around my own productivity, reflection on the past year, and many of the challenges that we had, especially with my health and all that. And then I had this huge like kapow, this moment of just like my entire standard and barometer of productivity has to change. When you change your barometer and your standard of productivity from how much did I do as an entrepreneur to how much did I delegate, you will 10x. And the reason I saw this was because success leaves clues. And one of the books that I'm currently reading is by Dan Sullivan, and it's called 10x is easier than 2x. And one of the exercises that the book gives, and I'm working through this with my Wolfpack Mastermind, which is a very private mastermind. No, you cannot jump into it. This is just invitation only for friends in the industry who are doing really phenomenal work. And so we're workshopping this book. And in this book, they talk about the gap and the gain, and looking at the gain as far as like, what 10x leaps have you had in the past to make yourself see that really 10x is easier than 2x. 2x is linear, 10x is exponential. And I looked at like, how did we get our house? Because that's the most recent gigantic 10x leap. Same with Australia, like 10x leap in Australia. Moving to Australia was one, then scaling our business 300% was one, then losing 3 family, like that was another 10x year with like still growing our profits 35%. And growing the business 150% in the same year that I lost my father, my aunt, and my grandma, and gave birth to a child and had a TEDx talk. Like, that was bananas. So I was like, yeah, 10x is kind of my thing. I'd like to have a system for it. And I was thinking, as I was reflecting on my productivity in this productivity session of coaching, I said, holy shit, I did a 10x with our manifestation of our home. And I looked at, okay, what did I do in the home buying process? Well, we hired a realtor to help us find and see the best houses. We didn't try to go at it our own. We didn't try to,
not pay that 3% fee that goes with a realtor. No, we were totally fine with compensating someone who was going to guide us through the process. And then, we moved my mom with us. And so we had to sell her house as well. And there was and move all her stuff and then get rid of all my dad's stuff and all that. And I looked at, oh my gosh, how did I actually achieve that 10x jump? And I'm going to walk you through my exact steps. So, one, I hired great people. Really, we hired an epic team. Our Texas realtor, our California realtor, initially Spike was like, oh, I could list a home and we could do a for sale by owner and then we don't have to pay. And I said, well, with the time frame, let's just hire someone who understands the market, because we were also going into Thanksgiving and Christmas, which was a very challenging time to sell a house. And we were also, there was a heaping amount of clutter. No offense to my mom, I love her so much. And your external circumstances will always reflect your internal. And my childhood home could not have reflected that better, because it was so chaotic. There was so much furniture. There was so much stuff in it, and it was packed. And we had, I think, at least 2 full, the giant bin, not garbage trash cans, but bins that we just tossed, 2, if not 3. And still, we had bags and bags and bags of trash and things that we no longer used. And we had Habitat for Humanity come out and take a whole bunch of furniture that just was not necessary. There was no way was it gonna just work. No, that's all I could say. But I look at it and I saw my productivity and I saw how I worked best. And one of the ways was, not only did I delegate, and I delegated to professionals. So not only did I delegate to 2 realtors, so we had our California realtor, we had our Texas realtor that was negotiating with our getting our home. We had our California negotiator who was negotiating with selling our childhood home. And in order to sell the childhood home, we had to prepare it for sale, or else we would not have gotten a very good price. And her realtor gave me the best compliment. She said, I have never seen anyone clean out a house that fast and flip it so fast, because we did it in 6 weeks. I thought we could do it in 4. I was very ambitious with my goal, but I also was open for 6. And we cleared that house in 6 weeks. And I mean a top to bottom, clearing, repainting, staging, because unlike homes in Texas, y'all, I was looking at homes in Texas for 6 months, and staging is not always a thing. If you go into the new model homes and communities inside of the HOAs, those are all beautifully staged and they look great, but that's not what we wanted. We wanted to not be in an HOA. And so the homes that were available that were not in HOAs, that's staging ain't a thing, for the most part. The one that we bought, actually, it wasn't staged, but it was cleaned and presented, and it was just beautiful. The sellers did a phenomenal job of just making it. They took very great care of the home. They were the only previous owner. For them, it was their build. So this process was crazy though, because we had to hire the paint crew and then hire junk crews and I had to hire a toxic waste crew. Yes, because there were heaps from my parents' business of toxic chemicals and things that you use to kit with plants, and then also really old paints that you can't throw away in a trash can. And if you do, I just am all about just being as eco-conscious as possible. So we had a toxic waste crew come out, and we had junk crews come out and movers come out, and all of this had to be scheduled, delegated, and there was a time frame and a plan. And as I was in this coaching session, I was like, that's the productivity. And as a leader, the greatest thing, and I've had a team now for 5 years and they do such amazing work. And this drove team leadership to a whole new level. Because if you want to go to 10x your business, go from being a doer to a delegator. If you want 10x results and want to quantum leap in time, delegate more, figure out the how of how you're going to pay them later. Steve Jobs didn't build the iPhone. He built the team that built the iPhone. In the visionary role, it is your job to 1, lead your team. Number 2, hold your vision. And number 3, build epic high-quality relationships. It is not for you to do 365,000 other things a day in your business. The queen, if we were to take the queen archetype, she's not running around sweeping the floors. She's got a team for that. She's probably not setting her own table at dinner. She's got a team for that. She's probably not cooking her own meals. She's got a team for that. The queen does what she does, which is leadership and maintaining relationships. If you've ever watched an episode of The Crown, she writes a lot of letters. Why is she writing letters? Because she's maintaining relationships. The same is true for you, your inbox, your DMs, maintaining high caliber relationships. The podcast interviews you go on, go maintain those relationships. The relationships with your customers, the relationships with your past customers, keep up those relationships. Love on those relationships. That's the visionary role. The visionary role is not doing 5 million things. It is delegating, leading. And the problem with entrepreneurs is they do not want to delegate, or they delegate a little bit, but not enough so they don't get the credit, right? So they delegate to taskers instead of managers. So they still get the credit for managing the project. So the problem is that then they get stuck in a managerial role managing tasks in their business, which then they get the accolades for getting the project done, but they also get tired because it comes with a lot of responsibility. And then as you grow, you have more projects. You have, a podcast, and then you have your sales acquisition, and then you have your ops, and then you have the financials, and then you have your admin, and then you have the integrator role that's overseeing all of that. And typically the entrepreneur in the initial stages is in all of those roles versus being in the visionary role, where most of my clients need, desire, want to sit. That visionary role is to lead, to hold the vision, to build epic high quality relationships, and to bring forth those 10x ideas, which also means that to be in that role, you have to surrender the credit. Entrepreneurs don't want to surrender the control because they also simultaneously don't want to surrender the credit. They like having all the credit to themselves. They worked hard. They put the team together. They did this. And yet, the more you become a leader, the less you will be praised for your work. The more you will find yourself praising your team for the work that they do. I heard a really phenomenal podcast. I think it was on Ed Milet. It was several years ago when I was in Australia. I remember it. I remember exactly where I was in the gym, and it blew me away. I changed my entire languaging around how I frame my team, around how I speak about them. It is not me. It is we. We as a team, we get our clients booked on podcasts. We succeed with having transformational results for our coaching clients. We succeed. I could not do this without them. We do this together. We scaled our podcast to hundreds of thousands of downloads. That is a we effort, not a me. I just talk. I just do the talking. They do everything else. And so that's the hard part of the entrepreneur's ego, because unlike in any other role, in any other industry, entrepreneurs want to take all the credit. They want all the credit. I will say I have seen that in Hollywood from time to time. I did see the people who wanted to be the Clint Eastwood. I know I did. They wanted to be the actor, the writer, the director, all the things, and have all the credit on that. And that is a skill set because you are constantly switching hats. And it takes a very specific type of personality to be able to do that. And I'm saying it can be done. I'm not saying it should be done. And so I encourage you to find the team to delegate out not just the tasks, but the responsibility of the projects. Because as you grow, that responsibility of the projects being to completion and having client satisfaction will be more important than having a heaping big to-do list of tasks like all checked off, because all those tasks fall under projects. And so if you want to grow 10x, delegate 10x more. Look at everything you're doing and look at what is it specifically that is in your percentage of what you can do best. What is truly in your genius zone. Like my mentor, James Wedmore, he says it's Pareto's principle on steroids, where it's not just the 80-20 principle where 20% produces 80% of the results. It's 5% produces 95% of results. That is when you find your unique ability, as Dan Sullivan calls it, who's the CEO and founder of the Strategic Coach. Finding that unique ability, finding that sweet spot of your zone of genius, that is your space that you thrive. For me, it's in communication, it's in creativity, and it's in collaborations. That is where I thrive. And the more I can hone in and get very specific around how do I create better, how do I build more strategic, amazing, powerful partnerships and collaborations, how do I communicate more effectively and more efficiently, and for me, it is in communication, strategic collaborations, creativity, and coaching. And lastly, how do I coach, challenge, lovingly guide, support, mentor my team and my clients into getting the results that they desire, into achieving their 10x goals? How do I lead from that coach perspective? And the more I master my coaching, my creativity, my communication, and my collaborations, the more refined I get and the more I delegate out that which is not in my zone of genius, not only the tasks, but the entire projects. And that will be a game changer for your productivity. So if you love this episode and you're like, yes, queen, how do I build and how do I want to 10x, like help me 10x my life, my personal life and my business life? Because yes, you can 10x both. I know I've done both. I've done 10x business. I've done 10x personal. You've probably done more 10x in business and personal as well than you actually are giving yourself credit for. So if you're like, I am ready to not just like linearly, just like step by step, but I want a 10x quantum leap, then let's have a conversation. Let's dive in and do a consult, and you will get to see what it's like to quantum leap. And you will have a strategy and a plan to quantum leap together. So click down below, book a consult with me. I am so honored and excited to serve you. Thank you so much for your listenership, for being such a loyal part of this audience. If you want to connect with our fast-growing Crown Yourself community, head on over to our community on Facebook at Facebook's groups/Crown Yourself and find our community there where we can support you in claiming that divine purpose and aligning with the action steps that will quantum leap you to your goals. As always, my fellow sovereigns, own your throne, mind your business, because your reign is now.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. If what you heard resonated with you, be sure to subscribe and start creating a bigger impact now by sharing this with a friend. Just by doing that one simple act of kindness, you are creating a royal ripple to support more people in their sovereignty. And if you're not already following on social media, connect with me everywhere at crownyourself.now for more inspiration. I am so excited to connect with you in the next episode. And in the meantime, go out there and create a body, business, and life that rules. Because today, you crown yourself.